I've never had one person in the interview ask me what school I graduated from. I've worked several contracts. As you all know, I'm a travel nurse. I do interviews all the time, sometimes every 3 to 4 months as I'm switching contracts. Not one in 13, 14 years has asked me what school I graduated from. So guys, I had a bunch of people ask me under one of my previous videos about what school did I go to, how did I select a school, and I'm here to tell you there was no rhyme or reason to why I selected Walden to be my school, other than I was at a strike in Minnesota. There were nurses downstairs when we were off duty, and they were all doing their homework. I went and I asked a bunch of them, like, hey, what you guys doing? What you all working on? Because I thought I was missing out on something because there was a lot of nurses there, and they all were in NP school. Some of them were attending South University, and some of them was attending Walden. What made me really go to Walden was because they had the mental health psychiatric nurse practitioner program. That's the only reason why I ended up going to Walden. A girl there gave me the referral, and she gave me her recruiter, and that's how I ended up going to Walden. I just wanted to get accepted in the program. The recruiter, it was effortlessly, I got accepted in the program. I honestly, and this is not everybody's situation, I didn't care about the money, how much it costs or whatever. And the reason being is because I knew that advancement in my career, that I'll be able to pay my student loans back. I've always been a type of person that never felt like, oh, I'm going to let how much a school costs or a program costs keep me from furthering my education, because I know how I am. I'll pay my student loans back when I get ready, but I'll pay my student loans back. And that's that. So that's how I ended up at Walden. But for a bunch of you who keep asking that question, to me, my advice is just find a program that is suitable to your schedule, that is suitable to your finances, if that matters to you, as well as a program that accepts you. I look at school like you just need to get that certificate. We all have the basis already, the foundation, which was RN school. Once you pass RN school, I really feel like every other education you obtain after that is really just a piece of paper, because you already have the foundation. Just get in the program, do what you have to do to pass the program, get the paper, and everything else is up and stuck from there. Like, my first job was in a trauma ICU. When I left nursing school, there was no way that I was prepared for a job in a trauma ICU with the foundation. We all get the same foundation of nursing school. There was no way I was prepared for that. I just needed to pass the boards, and that's what I did. And then people was like, oh, you need to start in med surg, you need to start. No, I always knew I wanted to be an ICU nurse, so that's what I did. I applied for the critical care internship program. I got in, and my first job was a trauma ICU. I learned everything I needed to know there. That's your foundation. So now you have that foundation when you go for your BSN. The BSN was a bunch of busy work, paperwork. I did mine in a year, got it from Alabama, was done with that. And then the master's program, I feel still was a lot of busy work. You may pick up a little few things here and there, but you already have the foundation to be a nurse practitioner, depending on what type of nurse practitioner you're going to be. So let's say, for instance, family. If you're a med surg and tele nurse, and you worked on, and you going to school for family nurse practitioner or something, acute, maybe you want to be an ER nurse or ICU nurse or a PACU nurse, but when you call a doctor as an RM, I already knew what I was asking for. If my patient was declining or if something was off with the labs, I was just calling to get the order, because I can't write orders or prescribe, but I already knew what I was going to ask the doctor for. If my patient heart rate was high or whatever, I knew I was calling to see, maybe get some metoprolol or something like that. If the labs, the potassium was low, I already knew I was calling and he was going to give me maybe this, whatever amount of potassium based on what the lab is. You already know what you're going to ask the doctor for most of the time, because your experience teaches you that. Now, as a nurse practitioner, you kind of alleviate in the doctor, depending on what state you work in or whatever, how independent you are or not. You may have a collaborating physician, but you then just kind of alleviate the doctor. And now, instead of you calling the doctor for that order, you're writing that order. So you already have the foundation. You already know. Don't be discouraged about going back to NP school or finding these Ivy League NP schools and none, because I'm here to tell you, not one interview, not one, has anybody ever asked Angel, now Angel the Psych NP, what school she went to. Oh yeah, maybe listed on the resume, but I could guarantee you they had nothing to do with nothing. What certified my resume is my experience. That certifies it. Maybe depending on where you at and who is the recruiter or whatever, you might, based on hospitals you work at, they're magnet hospitals. They know if you worked at this hospital, you may be a little bit more like disciplined or whatever the case may be. Or just, kind of like if somebody see the military on your resume, they may say, oh, she has to have some discipline, or he has to have some discipline because he was in the military. But you may have something like that as far as the hospitals you work at. But the school, don't get caught up in that. Don't be discouraged by that. Get in school, get accepted, find your program, pay your money, get that piece of paper, however you got to get that piece of paper. I'm not here to tell you what to do and how to do it, but just get the piece of paper so that you can just elevate to the next level of your career if NP is what you want to do. And I kind of feel that way for anything. I feel that way if I was going to CRNA school, maybe in another profession like law or something. I don't know, maybe it may make a difference. But in the medical field, I don't know if that really makes a difference, because the medical field is always evolving. Everything changes all the time. So don't worry about what you're getting from a school, because when you get to a hospital, they're going to give you what you need to know, or your experience when you're dealing with certain type of patients. But you're going to get what you need from the hospital. Just get the piece of paper from the school that says you are qualified and certified to do it in the hospital. The hospital will give you what you need. Do not, I repeat, do not get caught up in where you're going to school at and all these other things. It's a non-factor, in my opinion. I didn't go to any Ivy League schools. My first RN degree was from a community college. And guess what? With that RN degree, it wasn't even a BSN at the time. I got the job, the critical care internship program, over some people who I know had the BSN already. It had nothing to do with the school I went to. Don't be discouraged about a certain type of school. Find one that's going to, 1, accept you, 2, that's suitable to your schedule, and 3, if it's your budget, if that's important to you. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, turn on your notifications. Angel the Psych NP. Ciao.